Email attachments. Oh, wow. Probably the biggest single cause of viruses would be email attachments. So you absolutely have to know the person that is sending it to you is for real, has maybe called you or said something in advance to let you know that they're sending it. Tremendous amount of viruses.
Joel?
Yeah.
That doesn't even matter. I received an email about 2 weeks ago from a good friend, said check the site out. Luckily,
because they probably hadn't seen what the site was.
Well, no, I couldn't even get to it because luckily our firewall said, don't do this.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And then I emailed him to tell him this machine had been hacked.
Right. And he may or may not believe you. Okay, so HTTP versus HTTPS. This is another one of those, I believe, in major lessons. HTTP is you go to a site, and that's the regular URL, and it's not encrypted. And there are some sites that will ask you for information, your name, your phone number, your address. When I was going to Newsday to sign in, and I wasn't on my local computer because I have a Newsday subscription at home, so I get it. I go, and they ask you for information to sign in. So they're asking you for your name, address, phone number. And I'm looking at the top of it, HTTP. Means anybody can get it. The secure site is HTTPS. When you do your credit card transactions, when you give any personal information. If you ever get to a site that wants you to give information and it's HTTP, you should run away from it. Okay, we talked about the internet versus the intranet. Public PCs with internet connections, such as the Hofstra Library or your local library. The Hofstra Library may not be happy with me saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway. So when you use a public PC, it leaves traces of what you've done and your behavior. If I'm using a public PC, if I'm in a hotel, for example, whether I'm in the room or in a business meeting room, I would always go into the tools with the internet options and I would clear out the temp files because I don't want to leave any traces of what I've done for anybody else. Cloud computing, boy, is this the big thing coming these days. What is that one? And that's the whole premise behind this new Kindle Fire, the thing that's going to compete with the iPad. What is, anybody know what cloud computing is? It's the idea that you're not keeping things locally, that everything is kept in a cloud somewhere. So when you use the Kindle Fire, everything is stored by Google up in this cloud computer. Well, on one hand, it's great because it means I'm not responsible for it. It's highly encrypted by them. But if I look at what the past behavior has been of hackers of the world, what do they go after? The things that they think are the biggest challenge that there is. So there is no way that I could possibly believe that cloud computing ultimately is going to be safe enough. But we could be deluded into it. I'm just gloom and doom here. Credit cards online, usually fine. Be sure you use encrypted sites. Okay, so before I get to that, let me say this. You may not know this. If you purchase online, if somebody has your information, your credit card information, and purchases online, and you still have your card sitting in your wallet, you are liable for zero. Got that? Zero. So if they went online and they charged $300, and they had gotten you a number, but you have the card still sitting in your pocket, they can't get a penny. But it's still worth your while to report them. So be careful about leaving credit card information online. And some of these things, I didn't even listen to myself, right? So we have these accounts like the buy.com and the Amazon. We want to use the one click. We want the one click, right? I just want to go in there, purchase what I want, hit the one click. It has my address, it has my credit card information, and boom, we're done. But it means I'm leaving my credit card information there. So how much information do we feel comfortable with? Again, doom and gloom. The latest thing with theft has to do with the security code on your card. You know what that is, right? So it used to be that they would ask us for the code, the digit code of our card, whether it's American Express or MasterCard. But now virtually every online company is asking for that 4-digit PIN that goes with it, the security code, because somehow or another they believe that that makes it more secure. So you've got to really be careful about that security code. So there are options now, right? PayPal used to be just for, you know, eBay and informal transactions. But PayPal actually has a pretty good encrypted system where you could register whatever credit cards you want, and then you could pay through PayPal, and the company that you're buying from never sees the account that you are using for it. American Express has that. Most of the major banks have that now, this online wallet. I'll ask this one. That's interesting. See what answer I get. How many of you regularly clean out your temporary files? You got to clean out every week. You've got junk accumulating. Your computer runs slower. A lot of the temporary files relate to these cookies that we don't want on there. We need to clean them out, and you need to defrag the computer. So defragging the computer makes it work faster, but it also means that the fragments of files get compressed, so it's harder for somebody to be able to get the information on your computer. Now, what makes a good password? How many people think they have a good password? Don't tell me the password, but tell me what makes you think it's good.
Letters, numbers, symbols.
Okay, letters, numbers, symbols. Good. You're not the same one that said you use it for everything, right? You said that.
No.
All right, so don't just use your name or combinations of it. So Joel R. Evans would probably be a horrendous password. Use at least 6 to 8 characters. You know this whenever you're asked to renew your Hofstra account stuff, right? Include at least 1 letter, number, and symbol. This is what Hofstra will require when you do it, but you should do this for all your passwords. Don't use one password for all accounts. Wow. That means if somebody hacks you once, they've got everything. Use multiple email addresses.